So I was tracking updates from the upcoming elections in America, and it struck me that the two top choices of the leaders have the most odd characteristics. One of them is definitely becoming the next president of the USA. 77-year-old Donald Trump, 81-year-old Joe Biden. One has coherence issues. One has foot and mouth, unpredictable, says what is on his mind, and often even surprising to believe of what he just uttered. A common factor? Both are one-time president of the world superpower, and both are hopeful of a rerun. But only one will get that chance. Both candidates are unique, for the lack of a better word. In 2023, when Biden turned 81, he set a new record as the oldest sitting president in US history. And if he wins, that would break his own record. If Trump were to get elected again, he would be the second oldest. Is age a concern here? According to Bloomberg election data, overall 8 in 10 voters in the state said Biden is too old. About 44% gave that answer when questioned about the frontrunners in the upcoming US elections in 2024. In fact, the data also suggested that a total of whopping 82% in a recent election felt that both Joe Biden and Trump are definitely too old for the upcoming elections. Now look, I am no ageist. I think it is great to have a politician with experience in governance, and especially if one is healthy in body and mind. Here's the catch. Biden is also the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, of which soldiers are deployed not just in and around USA, but in different countries too. The country supports some of the countries that are allies and are currently engrossed in a war, like Israel and like Ukraine. So not the voters as much in USA, but Biden and Trump themselves are at each other's throat over this. Biden is flipping the script. He's poking fun at Trump's slip-ups and even claims that Trump has possibly a memory lapse problem. And I'll come to that in just a short while. Trump, though not harping on Biden's age group directly, is calling the incumbent president as simply incompetent for the job. If Biden has best intentions in his heart to run his country and has a solid team of advisors and those who coordinate his work, why then keep mentioning either an age or the claim of health concerns? Because there are examples that have surfaced. In one instance, Biden was expected to give an award to the veterans of the armed forces at an event. He awarded one and then walked out of the ceremony thinking that the event had concluded, when the ceremony had actually just started. There are repeated such cases that have emerged, especially when Biden has been unsure if he needs to leave the venue and in which direction. Biden may not have age by his side, but he sure has a sense of humor still. Joe Biden, addressing concerns over this questioning of constantly about his growing age, was speaking at the American comedian Seth Meyers' late night show, where Biden mentioned the other guy, referring possibly to Trump only, that he's as old as I am. Close enough, yes, but definitely putting it out for the public. Biden has been known to confuse names, confuse the words of cities and world leaders too. Biden recently made a visible error, saying that the inflation was linked to the war in Iraq, before correcting himself to the war in Ukraine and Russia. Once he was praising his own administration's work of lower medicine prices, he invited the Congress to come witness it in the cities, including the city of Moscow, which is in Russia. He then retracted the word. On February 8th, during a press conference, President Joe Biden mistakenly referred to Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi as the president of Mexico. There have been reports that Biden as a child struggled with stutter and has faced speech impairment, and that it is unfortunate to mock a leader like that, who in fact shows compassion and rise despite all odds. But many have also said now that these repeated mismention of the words and the names have gone beyond any health concerns and deserves a fair question if he's fit to lead the USA again. Another report states, on 7th February, Biden twice referred to German Chancellor Angela Merkel as the late German leader Helmut Kohl, days after, at a speech, he had confused French President Emmanuel Macron with Francois Mitterrand, who had died way back in 1996.
And I sat down and I said, America's back. And Mitterrand from France looked at me and said,
Some mistakes like these can turn into a diplomatic embarrassment. But the most quote-worthy highlights, of course, always come from Donald Trump.
Look at India. It's filthy. The air is filthy.
You have voter ID to buy a loaf of bread. You have ID to buy a loaf of bread.
What? What is? I'm driving over a road where it's almost all paper. And you can see paper. I know paper. I know cans.
But all the time now we see whales washing up on shore because of the wind.
Our veterans don't have cell phones, do they?
He's facing legal hassles. There are court cases building against him. Yet Trump is winning the primaries in different states, which means he definitely has the support of his Republican side of voters. He constantly says he's being deliberately pushed aside because he may make America great again. That's his slogan. On the 9th of March, during a speech, Trump asserted that the elections are rigged, that this match is fixed, but only to immediately realize he also needs to contest soon, and then added, "Disregard that last statement. I love the polls so much." In fact, at least 8 times, as reported in America's press, Trump has seemingly made mistakes, confusing even Biden and Obama's presidential tenures. Donald Trump is facing 91 criminal charges in 4 cases at least, from bribe to an adult film star to stealing official White House documents, and all of this is proving to be a hassle for him for his dream of a rerun for the presidential race. On 24th of February, during the Conservative Political Action Conference, Trump projected himself as both a martyr and a savior of this great nation, especially against illegal immigration. That's a big issue in America. His language is direct. His tone can be jarring. Some of the words that he uses are explicit in nature, especially when he said, "We are living in hell right now." Because the fact is, he says, Joe Biden is a threat to democracy and we have to send these illegal aliens back home. His rhetoric and speech, especially about "remain in Mexico" analogy, find support among his voters. And that's what's helping him constantly win the primaries across and turning it into a historic match against Biden from the Democrat side. While most are serious counter remarks, Trump not only targeted Biden, but in a hilarious, so to say, incident that happened, he called himself a total genius. Narcissism or self-confidence? But Trump also made an error similar to Biden. If Biden confused Germany and French leadership, Trump on 23rd October in New Hampshire mixed up the leaders of Turkey and Hungary. He inaccurately stated that Hungary's far-right Prime Minister Viktor Orban was the leader of Turkey or Turkey, and incorrectly suggested that Turkey shares a border with Russia, despite neither Hungary nor Turkey borders Russia. And Turkey is being led by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Jokes apart, some of the words spoken by Trump are concerning. They sound like threats. "There will be a world war if I'm not elected," he said. "There could be a bloodbath if I'm not elected," he said. And then he adds, "If I win America, the nation will become great again."
Now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it.
Trump otherwise constantly mocks Biden's stutters in campaign rallies. But he appeared to have spoken incoherent words recently at a rally, even confusing Nikki Haley's name with Nancy Pelosi over Capitol riots. He falsely claimed that Nikki Haley, the only long-standing opponent in GOP primary race against him, and from the Republican side, from his side, was allegedly responsible for security on 6th of January 2020 when the Capitol riots had taken place. He was referring to additional force that he claimed he had requested but was not granted. He intended to refer to Nancy Pelosi, the former House Speaker, instead named Nikki Haley. So Trump's critics picked on this, asking, is this not memory loss? Why should this also not be extensively reported? Why should only Joe Biden always be attacked? And even Joe Biden jumped on this, targeting Donald Trump with a social media statement on X. This is currently the big American election discourse. Is this a part of the big American dream? There are so many serious issues that ail the United States of America, from mass shooting, homelessness, violence, drug abuse to immigration. But the leaders have shown a discourse that one wonders if this is the best that America has to offer to lead. Basically, what I intend to say is, United States of America is a major player in world politics, from trade to alliance, to investment, to wars. USA often becomes the decision maker and tries to become the big brother. Who leads such a nation will be of prime importance. It will be very significant because one error and the world may have to face consequences. Thank you for watching.